back to 18 Outdoors. Hey, over the last few weeks, with these shows and stuff happening, I've had several people that's bought the Grunt Calls and are interested in calling deer and stuff, and they've asked me about how to grunt to a deer and when to grunt. So, bucks, even deer, they'll grunt or bleat, all year round. But bucks generally, even year round, they'll do, let's just say they'll start out with a lighter, grunts. One thing also you want to kind of remember is if you get caught in a sticky situation or you try to do anything with a mouth or whatever, is stay away from a whine, because that's kind of distress. So starting out with a meat or meat, that is natural, like, social grunting stuff. So always kind of remember that you don't want to do anything in the distress, because, because that's, a doe in distress or a fawn in distress. That just, to me, that just kind of a creepy situation in the woods. Could be kind of an intense situation with some stuff, that you don't really want to happen. So it's because it spooks it, puts them on alert. So try to keep the mouth grunting down to me, or me, stuff like that. So now when the buck is, as soon as they get their velvet off, they're starting to test each other. So sparring and stuff, they'll do social grunts, just light grunts. So that goes on, pretty much throughout the year. So they just communicate with each other and kind of, filling each other out, letting each other know where they're at with her. Because when they're in groups, they kind of keep in touch with each other. That way, because and especially in the summertime and stuff, things get thick. They're kind of spread out, so they'll kind of communicate. Some of that you can't hear. So now, as the buck's starting to make rubs and scrapes, and they're spreading out, they've dispersed. When the velvet comes off, they'll start challenging each other and fighting. So, and you could get, the intense part of the rut, doe chasing. So a mature buck, a big one, if he thinks another big buck is in the area, he'll let out a buck roar. And this happens as your age structure is better or gets better. You have more dominant conflicts. You'll see bucks that are making rubs, tearing limbs off, gouging trees real hard. So they're more aggressive. So a buck roar, so you can do that. That's a challenging, or letting the other big buck know, hey, you're in my area, or we're having a conflict, with a doe in heat. So that, you can do that. And I've had success doing that, especially here later in the last few years, as the age structure on the public lands in Alabama, the way we hunting, is kind of, getting more mature. So I've killed a very nice buck on Alabama public land last year, like a 5.5, 6.5-year-old buck on public land with that roar, just, and that will carry through the woods. So that's a good challenge call. So then now as the rut intensifies, if you're trying to, pick up a buck by a doe chasing sequence, you can tie that in with a can call, doe bleats, meh, 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 that's a tendon grunt call. So you can do that. You can grunt throughout the whole deer season. Not gonna hurt you. I like blind calling as the rut starts going, scrapes start picking up. The pre-rut, everything's starting to get more, the more movement in the woods. Especially with the years you got plenty of food. They're leaving a lot of signs, so be a lot of grunting. There'll be a lot of chasing stuff, sparring stuff, because they feel frisky because their body's in good shape. So don't worry about over calling to an extent. You can get, I guess, a little bit too crazy. Just don't buck roar over and over and over again, because they're generally not going to do that. But several times I've heard the roar. So always keep that in mind. You can not ever overcall to an extent. So be mindful of the woods, you know, what's going on, and don't be afraid, you know, to use the grunt. So also, we're going to be in the shows next couple weeks. We got the GON Outdoor Blast, July 25th, 26th, 27th, and the Mobile Hunter Expo coming up in Dalton, Georgia. That's August 8th, 9th, and 10th. So hope to see y'all there. And also, if you want one of these grunt calls, we're having some more. We've got some more ordered. We've got some right now. We'll have some in Emerson, Georgia to GON Blast. So, and then of course we'll have some at the Mobile Hunter Expo. So looking forward to seeing y'all at these shows. You know, come talk to me about it, because hey, deer season's coming. We're trying to get ready to get them flat. So hey everybody, thank you for watching the video. Got the right here. We appreciate all y'all's support, you know, the likes and the subscribes and stuff. And if you haven't subscribed, you know, please do. Please like, you know, and activate that notification bell. So again, we appreciate everything y'all do. We're starting to get some Patreon support, so that's kind of amazing. So we never really thought anything about that. But again, we appreciate y'all. We're going to thank a few folks, you know, and then talk about some of the little sponsors. You know, first off, we want to thank
Weaver's Meat Processing.
Weaver Meat Processing. They've been helping us since 1998. So really appreciate them. We got Wildlife Research Center. They've been involved helping us get through this transition, doing our stuff on YouTube. So y'all think about them. Osseo Gear, Joe Miles Osseo Gear, appreciate them. They've helped us out with some stuff, and just again talking to them and, you know, helping learning some of the stuff and this things that we're doing. So JX3, appreciate them. I mean, awesome company, awesome guy. I really love them. Latitude Outdoors, another great company. You know, if you haven't looked at any of their stuff, amazing stuff, especially them Latitude sticks. You know, I really love them. So also the Mobile Hunter Expo group, man, we've been involved with them, helping them do some stuff for the last few years. You know, appreciate them and what they've done for us. Thank y'all. And Georgia Outdoor News Group, we've been involved with them for a long time, even when they were the Alabama Outdoor News Group. So we'll be at their show and doing some of their stuff. Even the Mobile Hunter Expo will be doing that stuff. So again, we appreciate everybody that's, you know, helped us with the stuff we're doing, and we're doing it, you know, for y'all.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
I mean, trying to help, you know, with the outdoor community and you know, learning maybe some different tactics, or seeing what we do, and plus some of the other outdoor stuff we do. So again, we really enjoy sharing that. So, and we still got a book for sale on Amazon. If you want to look that up, there's links on our YouTube, you know, biography and stuff, where you can get on there and get a book. Also, we got a spread shop link where you can get on there and get some gear, some shirts and stuff like that. And also, if you want to order Grunt Call or some shirts or whatever we have, hats, you know, turkey calls, you just send us a message and we'll get on that and get some stuff sent to you. Again, we appreciate their support. What are we going to do now? Getting ready to
get them flat.
We're getting ready to get them flat. Appreciate y'all again. See y'all.